today I'm going to show you a cheat because our grocery store used to carry what they call fajita vegetables. They were peppers and onions, and they were in the freezer section, and we haven't been able to find them. So I've been messing with how we can preserve our own. The problem with it is the first time I did it, I put it in my vacuum sealer and all the juice started sucking up into my vacuum sealer. So today I'm going to show you how we prep them, and then they're going to go in the freezer. We actually have a few freezers. They don't fit in my deep freezer because my pan is a little bit big, but they'll go in the outside freezer. Minimum 4 hours. Usually I do it overnight or a day or two because I forget. But today I'm going to do it 4 hours, and then I'm going to vacuum seal them, which I'll show you. So on here, it's just a cookie sheet and parchment paper. The parchment paper we crinkled up and then flattened it back out because it doesn't fight you then. And it makes it a lot easier. It's a tip I learned from someone else recently, and it's amazing. So we're doing green peppers because I got them at Sam's, and I got onions at Sam's. So we're going to do a whole bunch. I did a few to try it out. When I tried it, we used those in like 2 weeks. So I'm going to do a whole tray. Usually I like them, spaced a little bit more, but we're going to do a lot. I'm going to show you. Let's start with this. Actually, let me show you what I do with my scraps. So we do stock and broth several times a year, and then I pressure can it. So we have scrap bags. We put mushrooms, celery, onions, carrots. This is actually my second bag. My other one is in a deep freezer. We take not the whole scrap because in my handy dandy garbage bowl, you'll see I have some skins in there. I don't want all that. But we put this in here. You just take the air out, put it back in the freezer. We do this, and it gets me through a lot of stock. Each bag is a big batch of stock. So anyway, let me show you how we do this. This is the easiest way I have found. And it just opens right up. This is why your garbage bowl is amazing. You don't have to walk to the trash. You don't have to move your trash. I don't know about you, but my trash, I don't want to touch it. So just use this bowl, and then I wash it real quick after I empty it, and it just goes back on the shelf. This bowl is strictly for scraps. We don't use it for anything else. So we always know that is that. That is a Rachel Ray thing. That's even a Rachel Ray bowl that she sells as the scrap bowl. Okay, so when you're cutting these, your skin's gonna be a little thick. Be very careful when you're cutting skin, and I'll show you a different way when we cut the strips. Very sharp knives, because if the knife isn't sharp, it's dangerous. So we're just gonna go through here. I am not a professional chef, and I don't have the patience to do pretty knife cuts, so we get kind of haphazard. The ones that I was talking about that our local grocery store sells, they actually come in strips. You can make these thinner strips and just freeze them that way. But we're going to do chunks. So lay them on their side. It actually makes them easier to cut. So we're just going to cut them. And then we're going to go on to sheet pan. Okay. I'm going to show you 2 ways to cut this onion. So there's a fancy chef way to do it, which I'll show you in a second. But what I do is I do some strips. And then I take those and pile them up. Sometimes they're not the prettiest pile. And I just chop through them. If you want a finer dice, you just keep on chopping and you'll get a finer dice. And they go in the pan too. And you try not to throw them on the floor because they're bad for dogs. But we enjoy doing this. We do a lot of food prep, but you'll hear chefs tell you that you're supposed to do it as soon as you come home from the grocery store. I've never met anyone that has any energy when they come home from the grocery store. So we've had these almost a week, and they're perfectly fine. Sometimes I'll store them like in a container with a lid. So you're supposed to do it this way, but I tend to not have enough control. So we're gonna go we're not going all the way through, okay? You're just gonna make little strips. So if you look at it, it's all the way around. And then, in theory, you're gonna have your dice. The problem with this is the closer you get to the end, the sketchier it gets. So I am going to continue cutting all of these up. I'm gonna throw them in the freezer for maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then we will show you how to vacuum seal them. So we finally got to the point where our veggies are flash frozen. They move nicely, but you can definitely tell that they're frozen. The reason I froze them first and flash froze them is because when I did this before, it started sucking juice up into my vacuum sealer, and I was kind of scared to ruin it. I'm kind of sad that these are not as colorful. These are the ones we did before. Of course, you can see they're nice, pretty colors. They have purple onions. But I got these at Sam's, and there's only 2 of us here, so like I said, I can't justify when I'm buying them at Sam's and buying 6 green peppers, and then on top of that buying yellow and red, because it's just a lot of food for 2 people. This is a lot of food for 2 people, but you'd be surprised that we go through these quite a bit for breakfast tacos and just other things. I'm going to do some just onions by themselves, so that all we have to do is pull them out. It just makes life simpler. Our grocery store, like I said, doesn't carry the fajita mix anymore, so this is what we went with. So here's the thing about the bags. This is one of the old bags. I don't like using single-use plastic. It has maybe some damage, but I don't know if it's actually through the bag. If it's not through the bag, which I'll tell by putting some veggies in there and trying to vacuum seal them, if they seal, then I just got a whole nother use and maybe 2 uses out of a bag. Sometimes we'll cut the top, we'll use a little bit out of it, and then we'll reseal it. That's why there's so much space here, so that I can reseal it and throw it back in the freezer. Again, you're doing this so you don't get freezer burn, so yes, it's a little extra work, but it's better than throwing them away. So we have, it came with some bags, but we're out of those. These are rolls of bags, 2 different sizes. There is a cutter inside here. Makes it pretty simple. That's what I did before we started this. So I'm going to show you how to seal this. Very easy. This is your vacuum chamber. This is not going to necessarily seal because it's not packed, but we have to manual seal it so that we actually have a seal. So otherwise your bag won't seal. I have problems with this every once in a while, so we will see if we're successful. I learned that I have to let it sit longer because sometimes it wasn't getting the full seal, and then we would sit here and it'd just keep running and running, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. So hopefully we've given it enough time. Yep. Sometimes it'll stick up here, and usually when it stays at the bottom, I know that it has cooled a little bit and it's really sealed. So you don't want to pack this full. You can if you want, but like I said, there's only 2 of us. We can reseal these bags, but I just don't want to make big bags that we are just not going to use. So enough that you can kind of flatten it out a little bit, because this air gets trapped between all of the veggies, and when that happens, it has trouble sealing. So all you're going to do is place this back in here again. It sits over this vacuum area. You latch it down. And then this is, we're leaving it a normal and dry because they're frozen. It's not a big deal. Let's spread these out again. And then we're going to manual seal it. Let's see if our bottom seal is good. If it completely seals, then both of our seals will be perfect. So literally all you do is wait. It stopped the vacuum process, so it doesn't have a leak. And then you just heard it kind of do like a little puff. We're going to let it sit for a second. Make sure the seal is nice and hot. and you have sealed veggies. All I'm gonna do is write the date on these and throw them back in the deep freezer or the freezer from the refrigerator. But I just love this. I love that they're not freezer burnt anymore, and I don't have to worry about the grocery store not carrying them. And I have a child that's a very good cook. She chops all the time, but this is easy for her. I know she will eat because she doesn't have to chop the veggies. I know that she can just get them out, cut them open, and she has a meal, especially with veggies. A kid that likes veggies, you're going to try to encourage that. So I hope you found this helpful. We love it. I don't have the food saver. I have a Cosori. I just did research on Amazon. So good luck if you decide to purchase one. It's so worth it.